The Orthodox Church has seen an influx of young men and young family inquirers and catechumens, but where are the ladies at? Pour your cup and connect with us today as we talk about how the Orthodox Church is for women too. This is
Mugs and Mercy. Cheers! You guys,
it's our 50th episode!
That's so crazy.
Book 'em, Danny. I'm 50.
I'm 50.
We're 50.
Woo!
50.
And for this very special 50th episode, we wanted to talk about a very important topic to us. Christine.
That's right, Katie. We wanted to talk about women in the church and how the church is for women, because we are 3 women in the church and we believe it is a beautiful thing that we want other women to be able to enjoy as well. So, but first, before we dive into all that juicy goodness, Katie, what's in your mug?
Green tea. It's a yellow mug. Green tea. Simple today. Emily.
Does it have caffeine in it?
I think a little. Whatever green tea has.
Scotch.
Okay. Emily.
Yes.
What's in your mug?
I have hot chocolate. Woo! And it's in this owl mug, and I love owls.
Who?
Who indeed. And then Kirk, what's in your mug?
I have the clear mug once more. It's very textured. And I am again drinking my Elementy watermelon, what's it called? Electrolyte drink. I just
Love it.
We're filming late and I didn't want to have like something too
Again,
sweet,
it looks
you know?
like those Flintstone cups, if you
Yes,
remember those from
I
like
do
the
remember.
90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks for sharing, ladies. So if you are Orthodox adjacent, which you probably are if you're watching this or listening to this podcast, you're probably aware that there is a big surge of converts right now. It's
surge,
been
yeah.
the topic of a lot of discussions, a lot of other podcasts and videos, and even a New York Times article,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
And the article was focused on how many men are coming to the church. And we are 3 women who are cradle Orthodox. Watch our cradle Orthodox episode. Meaning we came into the church as infants. And so we've just watched this whole surge happen, and the parking lots be filled where all the lawn is covered in cars and everything. Even our inquirers hour that's happening at church, where just for that, the parking lot is filled and people are parking on the lawn.
Our coffee hall during every service is now packed as well as the main church.
I think my church is at least half inquirers and catechumens right now, and half actually charismated Orthodox.
So this is a very real.
Yeah.
And anyone, if you've been to an Orthodox church lately, it's probably something you've noticed.
It started in 2020, I think, is when it really started picking up. But even 3 or 4 years ago at my last church, we were talking about getting a bigger building, and I remember looking around and being at least it's only there are so many young men. It was at least 75% men in the church.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because we've talked, if we weren't Orthodox and born into it, would we have found the church? How would we have found it? What would have drawn us in?
Yeah.
It's weird to think about because it's just kind of part of who we are, because we
Yeah.
don't know anything other than that. But it's
Yeah.
it's an interesting topic to explore.
Yeah. I think we all have a lot to say about it. But first, let's jump into our saint of the day.
Yay.
Who I hope you find interesting and relevant.
I'm excited to hear about her, or this saint.
Yeah. So today's saint of the day is Princess or Empress Olga of Kiev. Yay! Saint Olga of Kiev is known as equal to the apostles. So I think she's a really cool saint for today because she's fierce and hardcore, a strong leader. And then she converted to Orthodox Christianity and brought Christianity to her land. And
Female convert.
Yeah, represent.
It's relevant, guys.
So let me tell you her story. She's a fascinating person. She was born around 890 AD. And she was possibly a descendant from the Vikings. So apparently, I don't know anything about the history of this region, forgive me, but there's like some Viking descendants who were known as the Varangians in that area of Kiev and the area. So you might look up an article of her. It would be like the Viking princess who avenged, she was fierce. So she married Prince Igor. And, he was the ruler of the region. And he one day went to go collect the dues owed him from the Drevelians. Forgive me again about the pronunciation. A tribe in his keeping. And they murdered him. They did not want to pay.
Her husband?
Yeah. They murdered him. They tied him to 2 bent trees and then let go of the trees, and it tore him in 2.
Oh.
So...
Boy.
Princess Olga was not very happy about that. This is so interesting. So she's the widow now, and so these Drevelians said they wanted her to marry their chief, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so honored by your proposal. Why don't you guys come and have a feast or whatever?" Now I don't remember which order these attacks, but she was so
Vengeful
for her husband. She at least attacked them 3 times of several years. So once, I think this is when she welcomed their diplomats, and she had them dress up for a feast. Meanwhile, her soldiers are digging a big ditch, and she has them led to the side of the ditch, pushed in their fancy clothes, and buried alive. And she's like, "How is this honor to your liking?" And so that was one strike. She ambushed soldiers at a feast.
Yeah. She what?
She ambushed soldiers at a feast.
Wow.
I don't know all the details of that, but here's an interesting one. Another time she received from the Drevelians like 3 birds, or maybe it was 6 birds or 2, I don't know, several birds from each home that she was like receiving from them as like their gift to her to maybe woo her or whatnot. And then she had the birds tied to their feet, rags dipped in sulfur, so they carried fire. They flew back home. She released them, they flew back home and burned down the village via these birds. So do not mess with Princess Olga, okay? She is not to be messed with. This is all, in case I wasn't clear, this is all when she was a pagan. So, yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought she was a Christian. I was like, wow.
I know. Yeah, this was all as a pagan, okay? So
sometimes Orthodox saints surprise you.
There are those
like,
warrior saints who are, that do what they need to do. But okay, in this case, she was not yet a Christian. After she was kind of satisfied with all that warring and vengeance, she began to have a change of heart and think about like the emptiness of the pagan idols, and she began to seek truth, the true faith. And this led her to Constantinople, where she was taught Christianity, and the emperor there saw her beauty and her very, her leadership skills, and he wanted to marry her. And she was tricky with him too. She didn't want to marry him. So she's like, "Oh, I couldn't because I'm not baptized yet." And so he had her baptized, and he was her sponsor. And so he's like, "Okay, now you're Orthodox. Now will you marry me?" And she's like, "Oh, you're my godfather now. I could never marry you." Like no pagan or Christian would marry their father, And he's like, "You got me." So he sent her back to...
She's very clever.
Yeah. So he admitted defeat, and he sent her back home with Christian writings and things for liturgy and other, I don't know.
She sounds like our kind of gal.
Yeah. He sent her back home with books and icons and things like that to bring Orthodoxy to the land of Kiev, which she did. So Olga returned home and ruled as a Christian leader until her son was of age. And he allowed Christianity, but he didn't embrace it for himself. But her grandson, who became the ruler after his father, Vladimir the Great, was the first one to make Christianity the official religion of the Kievan Rus. And so they are sometimes in an icon together, she with her grandson. And they're known as the enlighteners of Rus. And again, she's the equal to the apostles. So that's a pretty nice title. That's a big title for a woman or anyone. So
it's so neat to hear her story finally, because when I was a young kid, I was looking at an Orthodox catalog that had a bunch of icons in it, and I thought her icon was so beautiful without knowing anything about her. And I was like, Mom, I really want this one. And she got it for me because I felt so called to it. And then when I was older, I looked her up, and it said patron saint of widows, or widows and widowers, and I was like, oh no, what's that mean? And so I didn't ever read more into her story, but I always have her there, and I know she's also
see Emily's OCD episode for why.
I was like, oh no, what have I done? I mean, I knew that she was also the patron saint and some other things, which was really neat, but I don't know why I haven't sat down and read her whole story. That's so neat.
She's very clever and wise, and I think after her conversion, there was a change in, how she approached her leadership. But I think she's an awesome woman to have in the church.
Yeah. And she wasn't just this damsel in distress.
Oh, no.
You know, how we've talked about Disney princesses and we love them. But to hear these stories, people, this another one that would make a great movie, epic movie about a strong woman, you know.
So, Saint Olga of Kiev, pray for us.
With this topic, it's really, I think, helpful to hear about such a wonderful saint. I think there's been a lot of conjecture about the why behind why it's more men than women. And then in preparation for this episode, and I think you actually heard the talk, so you might know more about it, but there's fewer women going to church in America in general. This is not only in the Orthodox Church. That's correct, right?
Yeah. So there's, religion since 2020 has been seeing a surge of involvement, and that is across the board more men and families than women. So
single women more specifically
are kind of left out. And so I think my takeaway, and I think the statistics takeaway, is that what's going on is not just something in the Orthodox Church why women aren't coming, but it's a cultural what's going on with women thing. And so I listened to a talk recently, an Orthodox talk, and they were saying that a lot of the people who are coming to church are young families. Married people with kids.
It's either men, young men, or young families. There honestly isn't a lot of just single women of their own.
I know a few.
Yeah. There are a few.
But they're the minority.
No, I was going to say that too. It's not that there's none. We all know there's some, but.
Yeah. And we're where'd you come from? Are there more of you? Can we reel you in?
Well, we also know women, people in general are getting married later in life. And having children later in life.
Or having less marriage, getting married less. There's less marriages and less children per person. And those are the things that usually, when you start to settle down and take, as a woman, thinking about your family, that's you're going to take this seriously, with your relationship with your husband, with your relationship with your kids. I think that is one thing that brings people back to church in general. So when you're having less of that, there's less of that coming back to church because of those things. But yet we do see it in the young men
And the reasons behind this, more young single men coming, fewer single women coming, I think there's a number of reasons, and they're kind of too great to get into in one episode like this. Maybe we'll have some people, who we interview, who we can hear their stories and why they came, fellow women and men. But I think the focus of this episode, we wanted to do it because we're three young women. We do have families. That's, where we're at in life. But
whatever it is that's bringing it, I think for the first time in our lives, people, the American people, and just countries in the West are finding out about Orthodoxy for the first time.
Yeah.
When we were growing up, it was like America's best kept secret, and now it's like pretty mainstream. Most people know what it is, and I think it's just bringing people, whether they're curious, whether they're set and like this is it, or whether they're just like attracted to its beauty. Somehow, it's hitting a lot of men right now, and that's what's bringing them in.
Well, I think when you're talking about just like internet content, which we are making right now, there's a lot.
Subscribe.
There are a lot of men making content, so that perhaps is part of it. Is men relating to that content. So honestly, that was part of our inspiration with this episode. Is like we are three young Orthodox women.
We can do that too. Come to church.
Who've been in the church our whole lives, but we're like in it and have been in it and have grown in seeing that, believe me, we're very flawed human beings who are very much we're flawed human, we're fallen humans who are very much in need of the hospital that is the church. So none of it is this to say like, oh, we've made it in Orthodoxy. That's just not how it works. And as women who have grown up in the church and just love it so dearly, we want to share how much we love it and like encourage, if you're a catechumen or if you're Orthodox and, have a friend who's like seeking, who is a woman, invite them, just come and see, because it's the beauty, even if the men folk have been the first to discover it, they don't have to be the last. We can
drop that mic, Kate. Drop it. Mic drop.
Can I pick it up? No.
I was gonna say, like, there's a lot of masculine traits about the church that men like. Like some men love having something to be, having a spiritual father to guide you and give you authority and giving and like having this church to lean on. But there's so many. It's also like, it's the ultimate masculine, but it's also the ultimate feminine. It's beautiful. The music is beautiful, and there's flowers and smells, and it's like
icons,
and it can appeal
poetry
to men and women equally, And
well, it is adding to what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, the church is the bride of Christ, and so that's a woman. Pretty
drop
feminine.
that mic again. Yeah. But like, you could see why, not being a man, you could see why men are attracted to it, right? And I, as a woman, am like, why aren't like, I feel like all the women should be attracted to it too, because we see such beauty in it and such it's equally beautiful whether you're a man or a woman.
It's the thing about the Orthodox Church is it's very nurturing, and that's a very maternal, feminine quality. It is the hospital for our souls, which is taking care of people, and there's enough like beauty and emotion to, engage your feminine side, but there's like also there's just so much depth. And there's so much care in the church that really makes you feel like that, I don't know, like nurtured feeling. Like the church is there for you through, the Holy Spirit working through the church really nurtures and cares for our souls. I don't know. I just think it's very like something that women especially long for.
I was watching people taking communion on Sunday, and it was like every person after the next was so uniquely like different, like these very masculine men, and then there's very like or feminine women, but then there's like these kind of tougher women, that, and then there's more of like, like, I don't know, there's just so many personalities. And then reading or hearing about St. Olga compared to like the Theotokos or St. Anna or someone who you picture more like the mothering kind.
St. Olga of Alaska.
Or St. Olga of Alaska. Like they're like
very
when people say, I don't like religion because it boxes you in or it holds you back or whatever, I'm like, look at these like array of like these amazing stories and colorful people. Like it's for everybody. There's no like, you could find someone from any walk of life that would be attracted to the Orthodox faith. And I don't know if that's true for every other religion. Like it might attract a certain type of person, but like this is the faith that is for women. This is the faith that is for men, So
And
I love that. And children and elderly and people who
that's
all
one
sorts
of the
of backgrounds.
things I just, not to get too off topic, but it's part of like the beauty of the church, I think, because like women, we tend, that nurturing, like, and even having children, like we bring children in the Orthodox Church into the full sacramental life of the church immediately. So we have infant baptism, but then they receive communion upon the next liturgy that they attend. And children are, babies all the way up through, older children are receiving communion. Confession isn't until they're a little older and old enough to do that, but
form sentences.
yes. But that idea of it being for everyone, like that's part of the beauty of it, is you see people, single, married, old, have been in the church their whole lives and their children have already grown up, and it's just, it is beautiful to see all the different people.
And you see people with special needs who can't even talk or anything, who are like bedridden, and their parents bring them, and it's beautiful to see like there's no limit. And I've heard of people who've had like new babies that were way too early and didn't make it, and the priest has come and baptized them in the hospital. And so it's like you're not too young or too old, you're not too aware or not, like nothing,
Not too sinful.
there's no boundaries there with Orthodox Church, and people don't really realize that.
Yeah, I think anytime I've heard or read like a criticism or a complaint, like why they left the Orthodox Church or why they don't want to come or whatever, it sounds like they have a very narrow experience of, like there are, maybe the only church by you is not a welcoming one or something, like maybe there's a certain experience, but that is not representative of the whole church. Like there's so much more than just these personalities or experiences, but I'm like, I wish you could see what it really is, what it really has to offer, like God's love, his spirit guiding us. And it's like such a beautiful thing that I wish more women could experience.
Well, it's something for those who are listening, especially if you already are Orthodox, like that call to hospitality, that's something that is often a role that women do take on at church or in various areas in life. But like that, like just being that welcoming person can completely make or break an experience that someone who's just who's trying to find the truth, who's truth seeking, like showing that love of Christ to whoever might be walking through the door. You don't know that person's story, but like we need to like take that very seriously as people are visiting, knowing that, okay, all these churches are getting this influx of people. Like, how are we showing that love of Christ to them, whether it's, their first visit?
I feel like it could be intimidating if you've never been to an Orthodox church, especially if you are just like a single woman trying to find, like, that's intimidating. Like, even being a married cradle Orthodox, it can be intimidating sometimes. And it's like, it shouldn't be, but it feels that way. But I would say to those people who are nervous, like, go in, look for the person who smiles at you and try to stand by them and ask questions. It's okay. And talk to the priest after, most priests are super like welcoming and like, will point you who to talk to. At our church, we have her husband too, who helps like, point people like, what do I do? Where do I go? Like sign up here and we'll email you or whatever, there are resources and there's, most churches have like a group of people who are willing to talk to you about it.
I was going to say a lot of churches now, at both of our churches, I've seen people with name tags. So
yes, ushers or the greeters.
Who do I talk to? Find someone with a name tag if they have
my
one.
Husband's a greeter and he will talk to you. He loves talking to like new people and like getting all into it and like, welcome, It can also be overwhelming, but
if you're watching this as someone who's like thinking of going to an Orthodox church for the first time, consider going to like a Saturday night Vespers as your first service, or a lot of churches have Wednesday night service or whatever. Look at the church website, and a lot of churches post. But that can be somewhat like it's a little shorter service. Sometimes it's not quite so many people. So just as a consideration, just if it's like your very first time, you're not sure what to expect, or look at, like our church right now has an inquirers hour every Saturday at a certain time. I don't know if your church has a similar thing.
I have a class after liturgy usually.
Okay. So that's something too, like to,
and a lot of,
reach out to the church maybe ahead of time and see what might be a good time to come and see.
And I know all the priests are very busy these days because we have so many new people, so we need new clergy. But I know I've met a number
that's
of
a whole other episode.
Yeah, that's a whole other episode. Come to church and do that. No, but I've met a number of new people who wrote the priest or the people, like they went to the website and emailed like first like, what do I do, when do I come, and they were reached out to that way. So there's different ways to get in touch, or you go to a Saturday night and you meet another woman who you feel comfortable talking to, and then you're like, oh, you have someone to know. So there's different ways to kind of branch into it, but it is intimidating if if you're a woman and I don't know.
Yeah, no, that is something like before the episode I hadn't thought that much about, but like that is a huge part of being a woman is that you do. Just naturally you have to keep your guard up more when you walk in the world. It is true, unfortunately, just because of a few people who make evil choices, and so not that is something to worry about when you're going to church, but I think that just natural like anxiety we have as women, like
that's a natural part of woman experience.
So I'm like
there.
obviously
something unknown.
Yeah. And like for us growing up in the church, we never had that experience.
Yeah, I'm a scaredy cat for new situations. So like we were talking about before, like if I weren't born into the church, would I have discovered it, and how? And how? Because like trying new things is scary from my personality. I don't like change. I don't like going out of my comfort zone. So I would hope that God would have led me there at some point eventually. And so I commend people who do like seek it out.
Well, I was going to say imagine walking into a room full of people in a building you're not familiar with, like the customs. Like that scares me just thinking about it. I'm just saying like, that's nerve-wracking for anybody. But so I commend people, but like I'm one of the people who I love talking to the new people and like hearing their stories. And there's always the women in the in the nursery who you get to like hear their story. And there's people who would love to talk to you and hear your story, no matter where you're from, even if you're shy. And there are people who just go to church and then leave after, like whatever it takes to get you to church, But
just get past that, breaking the ice.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part.
Well, and I'd like to say a few thoughts about specifically like the Orthodox Church being for women, for all. The Orthodox approach to everything, our basic theology, is therapeutic in nature. So even like what sin is, we think of it as a disease that needs to be healed. It's a fallenness of human nature that needs to be healed. And everything that's done within the church, even some of these things that at least the articles are saying are like masculine, like fasting and these kinds of things. The article makes it sound like fasting, like literally not eating for 40 days. That's not quite what the fast is. Well, yeah. Watch our fasting
just
episode.
Side note, there's a lot of like women I've seen that are coming out, cradle Orthodox and other women like Destiny, who will talk about like how to stay and our friends over at Veiled in Grace, they have a great episode about how to stay healthy, and especially with like women and hormones, like it's all possible
while fasting.
Yeah, while fasting, nursing, all those different
right, and there's dispensations for when you're nursing and pregnant and all that. But all that to say, like those things that we do, fasting, etc., are not, quote, masculine things. They're therapeutic things. They're ways to work on denying ourselves so we can focus on Christ. But that's like this overall approach of like the purpose of the church and even who God is and how he relates to us is therapeutic. It's all about like Christ came into the world to heal us, like the incarnation itself, like him joining into our human nature, because he was the only one who could heal it from within. We couldn't, we broke ourselves and God had to physically come into us to heal us, right? And so that therapeutic approach of like full and true spiritual healing is what the Orthodox Church is all about. And that's
we all need it.
We all need it. We all need it.
Give me some of that.
Yeah. And it's not something, we definitely understand being nervous in new situations, but like we don't want you to miss out on it because it's so beautiful. And it truly is healing and life changing. And
yeah,
it's true.
And I think we've talked about like questions that we've had and like about faith and about God, and the only answers that we've found satisfying are in the Orthodox Church, like,
and that's what's funny. I have all these questions, like my spiritual questions I come up with, like I hear these different, views from various like Christian traditions, and then I learn the actual Orthodox view, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
I like that.
I'm down with that. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know I grew up Orthodox, so you could say like, oh, maybe you just agree with it because it's what you already believe, but like genuinely, it's things that I didn't necessarily know was our particular view on that, and other answers or things that I'm like learning from other people that just aren't making sense, and then just clicks. I'm like, no, that makes sense.
Literally almost every person, I can't think of a newer person I've met that's not the story, where it's like we were looking for answers and this was the only place that really made sense to all and had the answers. Like even other Christian churches, they might have some idea of it, but they might not really like.
And we're not trying to bash other Christian traditions
No.
because we know people might be watching this and
as soon as I said that, yeah. But
we love all our brothers and sisters in Christ.
Yeah.
But obviously we're Orthodox, and we believe that this is where you can find the fullness of the faith.
Of the faith. It's like the ultimate answer, the fulfillment of philosophy and all those things. It's like, and I've just heard that over and over. And it is strange talking to some new people sometime and like forgetting like that they're not used to that terminology of like, but we are the fullness of the faith, and like they might be like, what?
Well, like an example of just like it being different. I was like waiting for confession one day, and it was right before inquirers hour. So some of the inquirers were coming in, and they were standing in the narthex, and they saw like someone else right before me who was going to confession, and I was next. And so one of the inquirers was like, wait, like, because this particular person grew up in the Catholic tradition where he had already, like, there had always been like the wall or the screen, between him and the priest. And even that, like, our
almost anonymous.
Yeah. And it's a different way of looking at confession and what that is in that tradition. But he was just like, whoa, like this is like a one-on-one thing, and
personal.
Yeah, very personal. And I was talking about like the advice that you're oftentimes given in confession, and different priests have different styles and all of that, but it's like that was part of it. Like this is like a different way. And like when our priest came out to get me, he had the question, and I was like, no, go ahead and ask it. I'll wait a minute. That's fine. And, so he was explaining like, oh, you're confessing to Christ and I'm a witness. I'm like this, spiritual father, like human person who's here to witness this and to work with you and to give advice. But like, that's why you're up there, like facing the icon of Christ, because that's who the confession is to. And, I thought he said it much better than I just said it, but it was a good explanation of why we do it that way. But it's just an example, right? Like it's very personal, therapeutic, whatever our sins are, whatever our different ailments are. Like sin is disease, it's ailments, it's things that are bringing our soul away from God. And so everything is about repairing that relationship and healing.
I love how everything we do in the Orthodox Church has a purpose, though. The reason we face the icon is because we're not just confessing to some random man. We're confessing to Christ. Like we have a lot of purpose behind all these little traditions. But
so
also,
many symbols.
It's about, I feel like I've really understood what theosis means, like recently, especially as doing this podcast. It's not about like this math equation like we've talked in the past. Like I have to do this and this. It's like, it's constantly, it's therapy, it's a hospital, it's constantly healing and getting back up again and just making your whole life turn towards Christ.
Well, that God made us for the purpose of being in relation with him. So when we broke that, instead of just leaving us in that, he's like, well, I will join your nature in order to give you the chance to repair that purpose for which you were made. And it's quite beautiful.
So I wanted to speak a moment about why we think like that cultural problem of like, where are the women at? Why aren't they turning to God more, to faith more? And I know I've seen a lot of messages online about like, these messages about like fulfilling yourself, it's all very self-centered, and this is being preached at women, and
You're perfect just the way you are. Follow your dreams.
Yeah. And I've seen women leave Orthodoxy and then they're going through this journey of their self, and I think that that's just something that's being really pushed on women. Like, it's not about settling down with a man. It's not about becoming a slave to children, it's about you. And like, I know this is something I've dealt with. Like, what is my personal identity? Like, my identity is in Christ, but I'm still like a unique human. Like, what does it mean? And that is like, it's not like you put your personality aside and yourself aside. Like,
it's honestly, that's lies. It's lies that we don't need other people.
Yeah.
It's lies that it's all about us. And
yeah. And it bleeds
like,
into...
and you just see how like heartbroken and lonely some women are because they're like, I'm told, their society's like, you don't need anybody in your life. You just do you, girl. And it's like,
you take
there's
control
these like sad, lonely women. I'm not saying you need a man or children or anything like that, but I'm just saying like, we're being lied to about like what's natural and what's okay to desire. Hey, I want a man in my life. Hey, I don't need to pursue this crazy career. It's okay to be a stay-at-home mom, and things like that.
Oh, one thing I think is by just like living our lives as women who are mothers and wives, like just being unashamed about that, just like taking your kids out in the world and like, it's okay to be a mom with multiple children, like just kind of bearing witness, because, against the trend in the world of like prolonged singleness and seeking yourself first, and like then all this new agey stuff, like I'm gonna manifest my first million, or it just keeps going. just representing and being like, you can be a Christian, you can be a mom, you can, live in the world, but not be of the world.
And you can be an Orthodox Christian and go pursue your dreams as well. But it's not just about serving yourself once you're a Christian in any form. It's about giving your life to God, whatever that means,
Yeah, seeking his will for you.
Yeah.
And then being outward in love towards other people. And that's one of the main phrases you hear in Orthodoxy is like seeing everyone as an icon of Christ, because we're all made in his image. And so everyone we're seeing and going out into the world, we're treating as an icon of Christ. And if you've given your life to Christ and then you're working on becoming someone who treats everyone as an icon of Christ, you're not then living for yourself or your dreams. It doesn't mean you're unhappy. It doesn't mean you don't pursue those things, but you seek first the kingdom of heaven, and then whatever, direction that brings your life.
Maybe this is a less controversial way of putting it. Women are told that to put themselves as their God of their own lives, to replace God and to only serve themselves, whatever that means. And so,
and it's not phrased that way because it's all about,
definitely not
overthrowing the patriarchy or whatever.
Or just,
women's liberation. Men, have been in control for so long, and finally we have freedom. And I guess it's that whole thing. I was just reading a book that talked about like freedom from freedom to freedom for, and so freedom from the passions, right, is what we are seeking as Orthodox Christians. And then there's like the freedom to aspect, so freedom to kind of do whatever we want, not worry about husband or children or whatever, other people, and that's what can actually lead to that like unhappiness in life, if it's truly like just about pursuing what you, and if that's for men or women, but I think that what we're getting at is that the message is particularly being pushed on women, that this is, what's good and right is for you to seek your will, because you've been oppressed for so long.
Or the universe's will.
Sure. And then freedom for, so we want to be free for our relationship with God, right? And for what he wants us to do.
And it's not a sign of weakness to submit to God, and that's what people don't like, I think, about it. If we're, being honest, we're like, I don't need God to tell me what to do. I want to do my own thing or whatever. And it's like, but God knows best, and God is the ultimate lover of mankind and womankind.
I always think of like Grey's Anatomy as like this model of self-seeking, like just it's only about my success. Like I will ditch any relationship, like not in my OR, this is like all a power trip. And like, where does it stop when you're alone at the top? Are you happy?
I do like that show, but
I've got my title and my, success.
But like the world would look at that and say,
so
that's
empty.
an independent woman.
Yeah.
And you can have those things, but also, serve God doing it.
One very important thing to acknowledge is that, like Father Andrew Stephen Damick said in part of his talk, was we didn't do anything special to bring this surge. This is the Holy Spirit working in these people and bringing them to the church. So one of the things that we can do is pray that the Holy Spirit will also bring women, if it's God's will, which, it ought to be at some point. But
we know God's will is for all to be saved and come to the knowledge of truth.
Yeah.
So,
and I just want to say, like, there are people who, in your life, you're like, they will never be Orthodox. Like, like you in your mind, you make that up. But like, we've seen miracles of people becoming Orthodox or coming back to the church, etc. And it's all possible. And I think our jobs aren't to go necessarily preach with words all the time, but just to like be a good person in the world, to plant those seeds of like being a trustworthy person, being someone people can count on. Like these are ways you can show God, helping people. Like these are the type of things people are going to say, hey, there's something different about this person.
Yeah.
Why are you different? And then they might, and so
Orthodoxy is very experiential, both in the world, like how you ought to live your life in the world, and then of course in the church itself.
Yeah. So us as Orthodox, established Orthodox, and people who are even maybe catechumens, and you want to tell other people about it, I think just by living the example is like the best thing we can do, and praying, those are two of the best. Like if you feel like I don't know how to talk to a new person, like just be an example. Offer them a cup of coffee when they come to coffee hour. You don't have to sit by them and try to talk to them and like
Some of us are socially awkward.
It's not easy. There's some of the holiest people that are really awkward to talk to sometimes, and it's okay. Everyone has their gifts. But I think like Gary, like I've brought this up a couple times when he
Your husband.
My husband, when he was and he talked about this on his podcast, when he was on our
Watch
podcast.
the Orthodoxy, Punk to Orthodoxy conversion story episode.
But he talked about how it wasn't like one scripture or one thing that he read that clicked. It was just being in the presence of Orthodox people that he was like, okay. He goes like, if these people are Christian, I'm not even Christian. Like just because they were so godly, and like that's how I feel when I'm around really godly people. Sometimes like I'm not worthy, but it's all about theosis. It's like wherever you're at, you're just bringing yourself closer and closer to Christ as much as you can. And I think the world around you will notice. It's like that saying of just like clean up your own corner of the world. That's the best you can do, and people will see. People will notice, and I think. I think that would be if I weren't Orthodox and we're living in this fallen world, that would be what would attract me, is like just seeing these women that I look up to and I'm like, I want to be like that. What do they know that I don't know? Like that's what would draw me into the church, I think.
Yeah.
And then seeing like hearing the music and seeing the icons, I would be very like, oh my gosh, this is epic. Them hearing the music and the incense and the like booming choir around you and everyone sings together. There's a lot of like excitement in that too. I remember, we're just a side note because we're talking about being brought into the church. After not going to church during the I almost said the apocalypse during 2020,
Pandemic.
the pandemic. I mean, there was a couple months like we couldn't go to church. And I remember like the first time we came back and could go in the building, I was like nervous. I was like, oh my God. And like, I was like, it brings tears to my eyes because I was like seeing it with new eyes and just being so grateful we could have come back to it. I was like, it felt like going on like a date or something. Like it felt like, those butterflies of just like, I love this place and I want to, like, this is like home. And I think
just the awe of the sacred.
That's the closest we'll get to like coming to it the first time, like after not going away and then going and just being like, oh, I feel home, Yeah. We love our church.
I like that.
I think because, like we talked about earlier, women in relationships or with families are the ones that come to find orthodoxy. There's a lot of people you meet who are like, oh yeah, my husband and I, or my boyfriend and I were like looking deeper and he was really interested in ortherdoxy and I kind of was drug along with it.
A lot.
But then I'm starting to learn, like you hear that a lot. And I think like the relationships are the key. If we can't be someone's boyfriend or children to like draw them to the church, but like where can, you have those female relationships, it's hard because we are moms in the Orthodox Church. Like I hardly even have regular interactions with anyone who's not Orthodox because that's just the world I live in.
Your own family that you're like your children, your
fellow adults in general.
There are things though, like you take the girls to their different activities or whatever, and trying to be like a little less shy, like about being Orthodox. Like I have an icon on my lock screen on my phone, or wearing my cross all the time, or. Just being open and not being like, I go to an Orthodox church, but being like,
what's that?
Oh, yeah, I'm Orthodox, so we, blah, blah, blah.
It's cool to be Orthodox, guys.
Yeah. And just being willing to kind of represent that out. And, because I think that's what women need, is to connect with
we do like our connections. We do.
Well, I think that's a key thing you talked about before. Women, not saying men aren't, but it's just a natural thing with women. They are very relational. Like, like we said, like going by yourself as a woman seems like, but like going with a friend or going, like going with a spouse or with your own children, that, those things. Yeah.
Yeah. Even I, like going to a new church or something, I feel the most comfortable when I like meet like a woman that's older than me, and like I'm like, take care of me, like those are my favorite people at church, like, and if you're young enough, I could be that to you, but there's something about like just the women that draw you in, especially as women.
And we have some amazing women greeters that I just, like, some I don't even talk to that much, but they're always like looking out for us and our kids and stuff, and I'm just like, we have so many great women.
One of them's my mom.
Yeah. She's pretty cool, that one.
I know, we gotta get her on the podcast.
Yeah, I know, one of these days. Everyone put, Sue, join the podcast. I go in an episode.
Spam the comments.
Yeah. Hammer that like button and say, Sue, join. Okay, anyways. But there's women in each church that you can probably go to, and that I'll welcome you. That's why I start trailing off.
Yes.
We are there.
And we can all, for those who are watching who are Orthodox, we can be those great, even if you're not like a greeter by role, like you can be a form of a greeter.
Katie, you're like, I'm so shy, but you've been like, so tell me your name before to people, and I'm always like, go Katie.
Basic social
Look at her out on the zone, whatever it's called, the playing field, doing it.
I try. Well, everyone knows my husband too, so then and it's good. He's good. Like, he's very good at being social and meeting people and being nice to them. I'm working on it.
He's a good icebreaker. Like, I'm married to the choir director.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm always like, I'm Nelson's wife. You've
for
probably
me,
talked to him.
For me, my icebreaker is my son, because everyone like sees and knows him from running around the church.
That blonde streak.
That blonde over there, that's mine. And then it's like, and then we talk, because everyone knows him before any.
He's like, he's not mine. No, I believe me. Mine are running around being crazy too.
And now they're starting to do it together. Our sons together. It's funny.
Oh man! And then the toddler is like,
I know,
she's being loud.
Mine too. She's finding her voice. She was forever so sweet, and now she's like, oh, really quick, just at church. Did you hear her? At church, she kept playing and running, trying to like run up to the altar, going, "Oh yeah, oh yeah," and Gary kept grabbing her, "Oh yeah, oh yeah," and then I start carrying her out, and she goes, "Oh yeah, oh yeah," and she starts like crying, and everyone's like laughing as I'm pulling her out. But it was funny because her saying was, "Oh yeah," whether she was happy or sad that day. And then there's always those comforting people who on the way out like smile at you like, I know how it is, or they'll be like, I just love your daughter, or whatever, it's a supportive atmosphere there.
All right, any last thoughts, Katie?
The church is for women too,
for people like you.
Where are the ladies at?
You
right there. We see you.
Tell a friend.
Tell a friend.
For reals, for anyone who, I'm thinking especially people who are watching who maybe haven't gone or have only gone a time or two, like, get to know, I try to be careful what I say about theology, with, so any of the things I've been saying, if anything's confusing, I apologize. Please talk to your spiritual father. But what I am saying, like, I do truly believe, like, what I said about the questions and the answers that I've been given, like, we do have a different approach than any other church. And for me, it's been so healing and beautiful. And it's like this constant process, but it's worth, if you are just wondering or thinking about it or, trying to understand, it's worth seeking it out and going and asking those questions.
Yes. Let me see if I can say this without sounding weird. Some people would be like, "Oh, it's just not for me, though." But Orthodoxy is for everybody. So come on down. But and I was going to say, like with everything, this is our thoughts. This is what we've been taught. But talk to the spiritual father of that church. Find a priest you're comfortable asking questions. And if he's not available, ask him to tell you who to talk to, and he'll give you someone. Like the priests are trained and the deacons to do that, and so don't be, they
just find a friendly person. I mean, if you have like a deep theological question, they can point you towards the priest. But there's a lot that you're well established in the church, average
Joe or Jane
can help you. Especially if you're a new woman and you're like really intimidated. Like, find an older woman who looks like she knows what she's doing. And
I was gonna say this might take off the edge of being anxious because, okay, we have how many people come to church on Sundays? Like 400 or something.
300 or 400.
300 or 400. We, even after going to this church for over a year, I meet people and I'm like, I don't know if they're new Orthodox, if they've been here longer than me, or if this is their first time sometimes, because there's so many new faces.
Yeah, so nobody's going to be looking
no
at
one's
you
gonna be like,
"Ooh."
oh, there's the new girl, everyone, like I don't even, I'm like, I'll be like, oh, you look familiar, have we met yet? Because in case they're like, I don't know, like we talked
Or
all
like the
about
third
this.
time I've met someone, I'm like, yeah, what's your name again?
Yeah, I know. Or fifth or sixth time, and you're like, I still don't remember.
It's a lot of names.
Yeah, but it's always exciting, and it's never like I'm never meeting someone like, oh, they don't know what they're doing or something. It's always like they might know more than me. I don't know.
It's actually kind of cute when people are new and inquirers, and they're like, oh, I'm so nervous to like be here or say hello to the priest. What if he wants me to kiss his hand? Like, it's like, it's okay. Like, it looks scary, but it's not. Like, we're used to people being
And
new.
you don't have to kiss anything if it's your first time.
Yes.
It's okay.
Pucker
You're not
up.
expected.
And if you don't know what I'm even talking about, just
Don't freak out.
I
Don't
love
freak
it.
out.
There's this brand new family at church on Sunday, and Father was passing out the bread after, and he goes, "Do you want a piece of the sun?" And he goes, "Nope." And everyone around that little bubble just cracked up, and we're like, "He's honest. He's honest."
And that's okay.
Yeah,
That's
and like
okay.
Father, the priest thought it was hilarious and endearing, and I was just like, if we feel that like lovingness to these new people, and the priest does, imagine how many million times more God feels about those people.
it's okay to
Like he's
to observe and just be there and take it in.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to go up for anything or but
Yeah,
anyways.
no, but for reals, I think that like just coming and observing, there's no expectation of you to do anything in particular besides
even if you just
be
need
there.
to sit in the back and listen to it, whatever it is.
Listen to the hymns.
I remember one more thing. Our priest was saying, like, dress nicely for church, please. And he's like, don't just like come in like jeans and shorts. Unless that's your nicest, come in jeans and shorts. He was like, come in your own personal best, and just like, I don't want to say that to like scare people, but like no one's sitting there like judging you. And if they are, they're,
That's
wrong.
their problem.
Yeah, that's their own problem, not yours. So the majority of people are good people there.
Yeah.
And we're all experiencing it together,
Okay. So in summary, don't be scared. We're here for you.
Yes.
Come on in.
And comment down below, like, any questions, concerns, experiences, fears. Like, it's very fascinating.
I had one last thought.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If you happen to see any of us at church, because
Yes.
there's actually been a couple
Yes.
women who have seen us on Instagram or
Yeah,
whatever, and they're like,
TikTok.
wait, do you have a podcast?
They're like,
Yes.
wait.
we're happy to talk to you.
Yes.
As much as I'm joking
Yeah.
about my social anxiety.
Yeah.
If you happen to see us, we're
Even
happy
if we're
to,
like tired and busy with our kids, it'll be nice to be like, oh,
That's never happened to me. But I would go to some other
Well,
church.
yeah. So, speed round of appreciations, ladies?
Sure.
All right.
How about you?
my mom, because we were talking about her being
Yeah.
a greeter and stuff,
Yeah.
and she's very
cute.
hospitable.
She's a good one to talk to. Oh, sorry, I forgot. We're not going into it. Christine. I'm thankful for Christine, my sister, because she's my big sister.
Aw. I have two parts. One, I'm thankful for both of y'all because we did 50 episodes. Woo! Yay!
Our 50
The
special.
Three Musketeers. And then the second part, I appreciate the older women who made me feel welcome at my church and just having conversations and like nurturing. Even when you're cradle Orthodox, you always need older women to like mentor you, and I'm just so thankful to have that. So
we all need community, no matter where we're at on our journey.
yeah. So cheers
To 50.
to us.
What has this
And
been,
cheers.
Christine?
And cheers to y'all. This
Thanks for being part of it.
Yes. This has been Mugs of Mercy. Cheers. Happy 50th.
We're getting old.
50. Do you start all over?
Yes. Boy, a cup and
Where are the
connect
women?
with us today.
All right. Let's just do
Who
it.
let the women know? Over to you, Kirk. You know, they just nod and then they go, right, thank you, after like 10 seconds.
And we're back. Okay.
I mean,
With
the green light.
with
Grab it?
okay. This is episode 50.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Happy
Happy New Year.
Happy 50th! I thought we were all on the same.
I thought, okay, Emily's going to do it. The area.
Kiev.
Yeah. Sorry. That was so he was
Kiev.
yeah, the one that became king after her.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to put it back in the box to see if it helps.